Hey, what's up guys? It's Spencer and welcome back to my shop. Hope everyone's been doing okay. It's been a little while since I put out a video, so I figured I'd switch it up and do something a little bit different this time. So let's get into it. We're gonna change things up and do a little bit of design work. I typically build things that are functional parts for motorcycles primarily, and normally they're to solve a problem. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that here, but it's gonna get a little bit more artsy than that. I've realized that it's kind of hard for me to do a video on designing some really functional, complex stuff to be used on my motorcycles and thoroughly go over that design process because it just takes so long and there's so many different iterations and prototypes. So what I'm going to do here is make something that's just purely vanity more than anything and walk you through the design process for that. It's going to be a little bit more simple. And to do that, I'm going to use some CAD software and then show you guys how I approach doing things in CAD. And I'm going to use Fusion 360, but it's going to apply to any CAD software that you have. Just kind of a breakdown of my order of operations for how I design something like this. So let's get to it. This is where all of my 3D printing goes down. This is my Bamboo Labs P1S 3D printer with the AMS system on top for material changes. And I kind of put this free floating workbench here so I could put stuff up underneath it. And what I ended up doing is storing my Honda Moto Compo up underneath there. I have a lot of issues at this house with the power flickering on and off, especially during storms. The power lines just get hit often. So what I did was I bought a UPS battery backup system to run my 3D printer off of. And basically if there's any kind of flicker in the lights or anything enough to shut off my computer or the lights momentarily, my 3D printer will keep running. And that just keeps me from screwing up a really long print, which can be extremely frustrating. So the problem is as you can see, that UPS system is just sitting on top of my Moto Compo. It's a pretty heavy box, and I'd like to hang it on the underside of this bench and be able to kind of tuck all the wires away. So basically the only wire that you'll see is the one coming from the outlet at the back here up to the battery backup system that's going to be mounted up underneath here. So we got to design a mount for it, and we'll do that now. So here I am in Fusion 360, just starting off with a two-dimensional sketch. What I'm doing here is making a 3D representation of the UPS itself, because I want to make the bracket as tight-fitting as possible while also maintaining clearance around all of the electrical outlets, the power button, and the cords, which I'm drawing right now. And the cords, I'm not drawing all the way complete as long as they are. I'm just kind of making a quick representation of them. Here I'm placing the power button and then followed by the outlets themselves. And this will just make sure that my design is as accurate as possible. A few extra minutes up front can go a long way. Typically when I design anything, the fillets and chamfers are the last things that I do. Sometimes they can affect some other things inadvertently. If you start taking dimensions off of those fillets or chamfers, they can start messing with things. So that's why it was the last thing that I added. Now I'm starting on the actual mount itself that's going to be hung up underneath that shelf. And you can see I'm kind of playing around with it. I'm figuring it out as I go. When I design anything, especially like a bracket or something along those lines, I pick out my hardware ahead of time, what I plan on using. So I'm using some like standard pocket screws for woodworking to mount this thing. So I measured those ahead of time so I knew my hole size and how deep my counterbores needed to be. The extrusions are where things can get a little bit complicated if you've never played around on CAD before. Typically, you start off with a two-dimensional sketch and then you turn it through 3D by extruding it. And so I try to make the sketch a little bit more complex in the beginning so that I can do extrusions just based off of the minimal amount of sketches necessary. That just keeps things more simple for me. finish this up by closing out the corners and extruding them to encapsulate this box the way that I wanted to. And I've got some clearance built into this as well. So, 3D printers are only as accurate as you make them. So I tend to add in some clearance where I can. And as I mentioned before, I add all the fillets, chamfers, etc. after the fact, once I'm confident in my design. Now that that one is complete, I can basically copy it and move it to the bottom where I can start making the other bracket. And the reason why I need two different brackets is because of the layout of the outlets themselves. So the bottom side that I'm working on now is going to be a little bit different, but the whole pattern's basically the same. So that's why I just copied it down and kind of repeated the steps of the first one, making one complicated sketch and then doing extrusions based off of it. So I try to minimize how many sketches I have. It makes it way easier to go back and edit if I find that there's a problem later. It's as simple as going back and changing one dimension in the sketch, and it's going to pull all those extrusions in line with it. You can see I'm kind of pulling up one piece in the middle there and creating a tab that's going to go over the top. That just gives me a little bit more room for all of my outlets. There's 6 outlets on this thing, but most of them are spaced towards the bracket that I'm building right now. And so giving myself enough room as possible. So if I put like a larger plug on there that has like a built-in power supply on the plug itself, I'd have the room to do that. You can kind of see I go back and change a lot of things as I'm going. I kind of think of where this thing could potentially fail, and one of them was by not making that tab wide enough. So you can see I drafted it out and put a big angle on there just to kind of stiffen it up. It took me right at an hour to design those brackets. After I was done with that, I pulled it into Orca Slicer. I made the body of the UPS invisible, so I imported those brackets as a set and just split the bodies apart from each other so they could be moved around on the bed independently. I have this thing set up to where it's using PETG carbon fiber and using PLA as an interface for the supports. And you can see that as being the green filament right in between these two surfaces. And what that allows me to do is break away the support material from the actual part really clean, and just makes it easier for post-processing so I don't have like a really rough surface on there. This print's taken right at 4 hours, which really isn't bad. I did it for strength more than anything with the PETG carbon fiber. It's a good material to use for stuff like this that needs some rigidity because it is holding up a decent amount of weight, and I definitely don't want it falling on my little scooter. Here's a little time lapse of it printing, like I said, about 4 hours, and you can see that right here is where the interface goes in that's made out of PLA. I'm starting on the actual sign now that's going to cover up that UPS battery backup system. What I did was I downloaded an image off of Google and I imported it as a canvas in the Fusion 360. And what that allowed me to do was basically trace out the letters and get the symmetry right with everything. And then I can just scale accordingly and make it the size that I actually want that'll fit up underneath that countertop. After a lot of playing with the size and the symmetry between the letters and getting the scaling correctly, I'm left with some little chunks of letters that I can actually print effectively. Printers don't really like sharp corners, it took some playing around to get it to where I thought I could print it effectively. After that, I can create the base behind it, and since Moto Compo is 9 letters, I decided to split this base into 3 pieces so it would fit on my printer and also keep everything symmetrical as well. I just used some simple planes to cut this body into pieces, and then you can see that I'm using a subtractive method to emboss the letters so that way when I glue them, they stay oriented correctly. Here's the sign after it's all said and done. It blocks the UPS battery backup real nicely, and when my Moto Compo's in front of it, it looks pretty sick. I assembled it all together just with super glue. It's all PETG, so it sticks together really well. As you can tell, I printed all the white and yellow pieces of the letters separately from the red. I also designed some hinges for it so that I could flip it up out of the way so I wouldn't snap it off when I'm moving my bike around. And I put some LEDs in between the 2 halves just so it glows when all the lights are off. It looks pretty cool. You can see the hinges that I designed right there, just all 3D printed out of PETG, and just using some wood screws to hold it up to the bottom of the countertop, and some plastic thread forming screws to actually put it together to the sign itself. You can see the seams where I glued this together. You can see the shadows of the tongue and groove system that I designed here and here. And what that does is just tie this thing together for strength. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to keep it simple and to the point as much as possible. I just wanted to show you guys kind of what goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot of time spent at the computer, especially for additive manufacturing, where you don't have the luxury of just being able to like trim some more material off of something, weld up a little bit here and there, and just kind of wing it as you go. I have to do a lot of that legwork ahead of time, and so I spend hours and hours and hours at the computer designing this kind of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next video. Catch you later.